Hi, and welcome to Finding Your Purpose. I am so excited to start this journey with you. So, let's start to look at what is a purpose and what defines a purpose. And I especially would like to explain to you from my perspective how I see what the word and the definition of purpose is. Because, of course, we all have different definitions of what a purpose is. Now, a purpose is something that you do. And for me, it's also something that you love. You really truly love what you do. It doesn't have to, for example, be something that's groundbreaking, like a groundbreaking role, like, something that's going to change the world on a big scale, right? Fulfilling your purpose could also be that you are of service in one way or another. Now, let me explain what I'm trying to say here by using an example of a breakthrough moment that I had when I was teaching in Kazakhstan a few years ago. Now, I was sitting on a bus, and this bus was basically held together by grace. It was a broken down bus. I have to say, I wasn't sure whether I was going to get to where I want to be. Now, I remember sitting on this bus, and I stared out the window, which was very dirty, but the parts and bits and pieces that I could see through. I noticed that there was a guy that was sweeping the street. I would say he was probably about in his 60s. And what was interesting about him, on his face, you could see there was hardship. You could see there was pain. But you could also see the good moments that he had in his life. It's almost like there was this collage of different emotions that he was holding there. And as he was sweeping the street, the bus driver was eating sunflower seeds. Now, in the culture, what they do there is they would split the seed open, eat the seed, and then spit the seed shell out onto the floor. And so what the street sweeper did was he kept sweeping up the shells as this bus driver would eat it, and he'll just throw it on the floor. He'll sweep up a little bit, go sweep on a different side, and then come back. And just keep sweeping up these shells. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, wow, what has happened to someone to sit there in his day and age sweeping the street? Someone that most likely has such a vast experience in life, holding so much wisdom that I'm yet to learn, as young as I was when I saw that. And I'm thinking, why is he sweeping the street? Of all the options that he is surrounded by, that is what he's doing. And I caught myself in that moment where I realized that I'm judging this person. I'm judging someone based on nothing that I know about him. All that I know is what I can see, which was very limited. What I saw probably didn't even scratch the surface. But what I did see was someone with potential. However, my judgment boxed him into a specific kind of potential that I thought he could become. And he probably could have become so much more than what he was doing as just being a street sweeper. But that was his calling at that time. And it was my judgment that took away the importance of what he was doing. And I realized, wow, by just having a thought, completely diminished the importance of what he's doing. Because I realized in that moment that there's a need for someone to clean the street. And it hit me, and I realized that, wow, where there's a need, there is a purpose waiting to be fulfilled. And we put the judgment on how important that purpose should be, or what it could be, or thinking, but that's not good enough. But that's not important enough. And I realized in that moment that what if this man, that his self-esteem felt so fulfilled, so balanced, that sweeping a street didn't matter to him. He knew he was fulfilling a purpose. And he was at peace with what he was doing. I wasn't at peace with it because of my projections and because of my judgment. And I was in the wrong for thinking that. And it's funny because that same year, when I was still living in the South Pacific, I had a gardener that was probably one of the most diverse type of people that I've ever met. He was smart. He was so smart. He was a carpenter, he was an electrician, but he was happy doing gardening. And he would come every day and he would fix the garden. And I one day said to him, listen, I believe in you so much that I want to see you accelerate. I want to see you build something magnificent out of your life. What would you like to study? Which college do you want to go to? I will help you fund that. And he paused. And he looked at me and he said, no, thank you. And I was taken aback by it. I thought, wait, what? I was like, did you just say no, you're okay? Because I was expecting him to say yes, he would love the opportunity. And in that moment, I couldn't help myself. I'm like, why? Why would you throw away this opportunity? And he looked at me and he said, if I leave this job, then someone else is going to take my place. And that means that what I do is important. And it's important to me. And I love what I do. And that is enough for me. And here came a second lesson again, because I didn't get it the first time. Intellectually, I got it. But in my heart and in my gut, my center points, I didn't get it. And here was the exact same message coming back to me again. He loved what he did so much that is what gave him the fulfillment that he needed. And because of the love that he had for what he did, he created a purpose. And it was his purpose. And yet, as well, it was a purpose needing to be fulfilled in the bigger picture. But look how my judgment diminished something that was actually important to someone else. Of course, I saw his potential. Of course, I could see what he could become. But that was not his choice. And who am I to come in there and to judge that and to try and change that? So what I learned was, through purpose, we find our passion, we find our love, and it's vice versa. When you love something so much, that becomes your purpose, because when you love something so much, you create an authentic effort and service that you're giving back to the world. And when something is authentic, it gives 1,000 times much more value to the people and the environment that receives your effort. Because then you're coming from the absolute highest expression of your purpose. And that you cannot learn in a college. That you cannot learn by just thinking of reading or looking up in videos. That is something that comes from your truest essence. It comes from you. Now, I invite you to plant a seed in the back of your mind, right? What if a big part of your purpose is to be radiant for absolutely no reason other than just being alive? Your greatness emerges out of that inner radiance. And if something that you perceive to be, for example, your purpose, that's something that's meant to make you really, truly joyful. And if it doesn't, then it is not your truest form of your purpose. However, it doesn't mean that you're not close to it. Right? So your purpose is the foundation and also of your destiny. It's also the foundation of your greatness. And from your greatness grows that foundation. So you see how these both entry points feed each other and complement each other. You're not always going to be in a place of greatness. And we don't always feel connected to our purpose. Right? And at this point in time, you might actually be feeling completely lost. You might be feeling very unsure of what your purpose is. Now, let's open a completely new perspective here. So let's say over a period of time in your life, observe and think back to patterns and actions in your life. And look at the moments when you did something that brought that spark into your heart. It brought that spark into your eyes. Because that is something that you are passionate about. And where there is passion, there is creativity and untapped resources that can take, for example, your talents and everything that you're actively using and doing to the next level. And if you follow your passion and also your creativity, it will start to follow your purpose. And if you have an office job, then know that this job and this role does not define you. It could be a transition and it could be a stepping stone. Because whatever it is that you're doing right now, it is serving a purpose. It might not be your truest purpose, but you are fulfilling a need in this world. And where there is a need, there's a purpose waiting to be fulfilled. And also, for example, your effort is a service to this world. I also made a video that's actually called Your Effort is a Service to This World. And I invite you to look at this video on my YouTube channel. I also explained there the example that I had from Kazakhstan. Now, firstly, what I will share with you here is that it's time for you to start listening to your body. Start listening to your mind and your soul. Your messages are now, for example, being misunderstood. Signs are being misunderstood because perhaps you are specifically looking for something. You are expecting something specific. And that causes your reticular activating system, your RAS, to filter out what you need to perhaps see to get you onto the right path. Signs that your soul and your body are sending you are being misinterpreted. And the end result? It's confusion. Right? So all that I want to share here is that something very important to you is coming. And before we continue with the next chapter, right, because this observation that I made myself, probably one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had in my life, because it set me free in more than one way. And it opened up an unlimited amount of doors of opportunity to me. So, what if I told you that there's a very, very big chance that you have more than one purpose? For example, what if your purpose keeps changing as you change? Remember that we teach and support through experiences that we need to learn ourselves. And as much as that it's, for example, a part of our purpose, it's also to learn that our purpose is also meant to be shared. So what we learn in one way or another, it is meant to be shared. So learning, for example, does not have to come from education such as a college or a university. Learning can come from life experiences. Have you ever thought, that a purpose can be something that you feel so passionate about that you're sharing it with others, which serves a purpose in itself? Because the reason why you are sharing something with the world is because there's a need for it. And remember what I said, where there's a need, there is a purpose waiting to be fulfilled. Now I invite you to keep an open mind of this message that I've just planted in the back of your mind. Now I invite you to join me here for Finding Your Purpose online healing course, which is part of my VIP membership site. And if you choose to jump into the membership site, you will have so many other amazing free healing courses, and you'll have access to that, and you can have access to this course as well for free. So until next time, be the light that you are.